Hey everyone, welcome back to the Vegan Demon YouTube channel. In today's video I'm going to do another race recap. So I recently ran the Angkor half marathon in Cambodia. This is my finisher medal. And then they also gave us this nice cutoff for running through the temples. So yeah, in this video I'm going to recap everything that happened during the race, before the race, and after the race, and let you know how I thought about the results. So let's get into it. So leading up to the race, as far as training was concerned, I was averaging about 80 kilometers per week, which is less than what I was training for with the marathon, which was around 100 kilometers per week. So since it's a half marathon, it's not as intense of a training schedule. And for this race, I had set a goal for myself of 1 hour and 35 minutes. So my previous personal best was an hour 40:07 for the half marathon, 21.1 kilometers, 13.1 miles. So this goal was an hour 35, which was about 5 minutes faster than my previous best that I had. So it was certainly an ambitious goal. But I'll get into a little bit later as to how it went actually during the race and trying to meet that goal. As far as pre-race nutrition is concerned, I already eat a very carb-heavy diet anyway, so I didn't particularly do a carbo load in the same way that I did for the marathon. So in general, I eat around 550 to 600 grams of carbs every day generally, so I didn't really need to increase my carb intake too much. However, I did make sure that I especially targeted carbs about 2 days before the race. So the race was Sunday, Friday, Saturday, I made sure that I had more than enough carbs to make sure that I had my glycogen stores topped up for race day. And since the race was in Cambodia, obviously we were treating it like a vacation, but usually on vacation you like to schedule activities and things to do while you're in that city. So I made it a point during this vacation before the race to actually rest and relax on that Saturday before the race day on Sunday, and to basically keep off my feet to try to rest my legs as much as possible and just do some light walking around the city for sightseeing and nothing too crazy, so that I was rested and recovered for the race. And the actual race on Sunday started at 5:40, so I wanted to wake up about 2 hours before, so that's about 3:30, 3:40, which means in order to get 8 hours of sleep, which is adequate rest, I had to go to bed around 7:30 or so, which I stuck to that plan and actually got a good night's rest. In order to get from the hotel to the actual race venue at Angkor Temples, the mode of transportation was a tuk-tuk. So for those of you who are not familiar with what a tuk-tuk is or haven't been to Southeast Asia, they are very popular methods of transportation that involve a motorbike basically pulling you in a carriage or like an open air car. They're very cheap and very quick. You know, you can maneuver in and out of traffic. So that was the preferred method to get to the race venue. So that's what I took on my way to the race. Once I got to the actual race venue, I sort of acclimated to my surroundings and sort of tried to calm my nerves as much as possible. Did about a 1.5 kilometer warm-up, just like an easy pace with a couple of strides, which is basically like brief sprints, just to kind of get the legs moving, get some quick turnover, just to kind of get a little bit of a sweat, just like I can warm up a little bit so I'm not cold going into the start line. So like I said at the beginning of the video, my goal for the half marathon time was an hour 35, which again was pretty ambitious based on my training and you know how I felt leading up to it. So 1 hour 35 is a pace of 4 minutes and 30 seconds per kilometer. So I basically went out of the race initially at that pace. I'll go through some of my splits. So the first kilometer was 4:26 and 4:30, 4:28, 4:32, 4:30, 4:30, 4:33, 4:32, 4:38, 4:37, 4:42. And then it started to slip a little bit at kilometer 12, 4:47, 4:45, 4:54, and then I basically hit a wall and my heart rate was really high, and I basically couldn't continue at my goal pace. So I was still able to hang on for a little bit and going at a reasonable pace, a respectable pace, trying not to let my time slip too much or have to try walking or anything like that. So I was still able to run, and unlike the marathon, I did not experience any sort of cramping this time. So I made sure to take a gel at kilometer 7 and also 14. So basically a third and 2/3 of the way through the race. And then every 2 kilometers they had a water station, and they actually gave out an entire bottle of water. So there was no issue with water or dehydration this time. So I'm very thankful for that. And I was also carrying around this, it's called Cramp Fix. So in the event that I did experience another cramp, I was prepared to take one of these, which basically has only vinegar and salt, which is meant to basically shock your body and provide all of the electrolytes that you need to try to get you on back on track and stop cramping. The actual race course was pretty flat. Again, it's around the Angkor temples, so there were no like mountains or hills or anything like that. So there was really no elevation gain, which I'm very happy with. Actually, along the course, towards the end, we were getting to some neighborhoods in Cambodia, and they had little children that were sort of on the sidelines that were, putting their hand out to try to get a high five. So that was really cool. Unfortunately, that was when I was at my weakest, so I was really struggling even to put my arm up and give them a high five, but I'm sure it meant the world to them, so I made sure to give a high five to all the kids. And also, there were a lot of stray dogs that were around the race course, so most of them were just laying around, not paying any attention, but there were some that did look like they might want to chase after me, so I was a bit concerned about that. And I've experienced running next to dogs and things like that in Southeast Asia. So fortunately, I didn't have to run away from a dog, although that may have made me run faster, but luckily we didn't have to deal with that. So my final time for my half marathon race was 1 hour, 42 minutes, and 36 seconds. So unfortunately, I didn't hit my A goal and I didn't get a personal best, but I did manage to get 10th place overall in the half marathon race, which I was really happy about. Definitely exciting to be in the top 10, even though I didn't hit my goal or get a personal best, so that was something that I was really proud of. I don't have any excuses about not being able to hit my goal, other than that it may have been a little too ambitious from the start, but of course the weather is always going to be unfavorable in any Southeast Asian race because it is extremely hot and humid at all times of the year, regardless of what time of day it is. So even though the race was starting before the sun came up, it was still very hot and humid. Again, that is not an excuse, but I do feel like I am in 135 shape if I felt my absolute best. And actually, if you are curious about the effects of heat and humidity on running, the website Jack Daniels, which I've mentioned previously, which helps with calculating paces and predicted times, there's actually a calculator for weather. So you can type in the temperature on your race day, and it will actually calculate the variance of what your pace would be on an ideal weather condition atmosphere. So for this particular race, it was 26 degrees Celsius. So actually that calculates to about 14 seconds per mile slower, or about 9 seconds per kilometer slower than it would have been on a ideal weather running conditions. But like I mentioned earlier, I'm definitely proud of the results and happy to have finished and had a great time running around the temples, which is definitely a really cool thing to say that I have done, and it was really cool to have a nice holiday in Cambodia. That's going to do it for this video, guys. Thank you again for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you are new, and I will see you in the next Vegan Demon video.